Just recorded 15 minutes of footage and somehow it got deleted. I don't know. I don't know what happened. My phone is being glitchy. It's happened twice so far. So I'm testing it again. I just want to see if it will actually record this time. So yeah, GTF 2 likes my hat. As I was saying in the recording that got deleted, I'm not against the Americans, but I support my country and my rights in these times. Damn right, that member said. I want to support Canadians and the forces. I don't hate Americans. Obviously, the only reason I would annex them is to help them get free Medicare, help them get a little more rights, or you know what I mean? A few more humane rights, like free Medicare, and women would be able to bear breasts, and it's not a pervert thing. It's just when you think about it, it represents all women's rights. Yeah, like that member said, it does represent women's rights because in some countries, women have to wear a veil and can't even show their face. They have their clitoris cut off at birth, and they're forced to marry a man that they don't even know. And they have to do harms and stuff in these countries. I'm not saying that these men are specifically bad. It's just their culture. It's how they work in their culture. What happens in their home? Maybe they actually treat their women right. I don't know. But still, at least the females in Canada have the right to show their face. Have every right as equal as a man. Because where a man can bear breasts, a female can bear breasts. It represents female equality. It's not a pervert thing. And I don't want to seem like a pervert by saying it's my favorite Canadian law. But to me, I believe in female rights because I'm a protector of females and children. And I'm a sweetheart, right? I believe a female should have every right equal to a man. Even more, she should have more rights than a man. Female should not have to go to work. A female should be at home, taking care of the kids, enjoying herself. Should not have to hold a job. She shouldn't have to stoop low to do porn or stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I believe that I'm not saying females are not good employees or aren't good workers. Or to me, it's just females should have more rights than a man. The man's job is to provide, protect, and support the female. A man's job is to protect the female. A man's job is to provide for his family. A man's job is to be there. That's what I believe in. And females should have more rights. But at least they have equality. It's my favorite Canadian law. And I don't want to talk negative against any of the people that are in the lead for Prime Minister role. But I want to say who I would personally vote for if I would be in Ontario. I can't vote for the Prime Minister. I can only vote for the person in my area. But personally, I would see Jagmeet Singh as a right fit. And I want to explain why. He was Minister of Defense. He's worked with the forces. And it would be cool that it would be a change of pace because it's always liberal, conservative, liberal, conservative, liberal, conservative. It would just be a nice change of pace if the NDP or anybody else, any other party, would come into power, just to see what would happen out of it. And Jagmeet Singh has experience with the forces. That's all I'm going to say. All leaders have potential. They all have, good opinions, good plans in each own rights. Personally, that I would just vote for Jagmeet Singh because, like I said, worked with the military. He has a better understanding of the forces. He's worked more closely with the forces. That's the only reason why I would personally vote for him, because he's worked with us. So my vote, I'm not supposed to say who I would vote for, I guess. I'm supposed to keep that. And I don't want to influence your vote. Vote for who you feel would be a right fit. No matter what, vote for who you feel would be a right fit to lead this country. and stop being so negative. Stop harassing these leaders. Stop arguing. Just vote. Just go to the polls and vote for who you think. At the end of the day, all these leaders are there for the country. They all have good ideas. Deep down, they all have good ideas, and they all want to do a good job. Uh, the only one I would say would not be a right fit for prime minister, personally, is Pierre Poilievre, and I want to say why. Not that he's a bad person, I just feel he's more of a comedian. I'm not saying he would be a bad leader, but I would just see him more doing stand up personally, because he's funny. He's a funny guy. He's got a funny attitude. Him and Justin used to dish it out in the Chamber of Commerce. And I would just see him more as a comedian. Not that he would do a bad job. So again, I don't want to influence your vote. Me personally, my is made up. I wasn't sure, but my mind is made up. I would vote NDP just because I want Jagmeet Singh to have a better chance. He's worked more closely with the forces. Personally, that's who I would vote for. But again, I don't want to influence anybody's vote. Vote for who you feel would be a right fit. Doug Ford's a good man. I want to say that. He strongly supports our country. A good thing you kept him in power. Good man. I can see a lot of potential in Doug Ford. I can see him. Mark Carney, I would see potential in him too. And Pierre Poilievre still has potential. Like I said, I would just see him more as a comedian personally. But he has potential. He has good ideas. They all have good ideas. They all care about the country deep down. They're all business people. They're all qualified. It's just like I said. It would be a nice change of pace, just to see what would happen if we would vote for somebody else than conservative and liberal. And two, I would want a leader that is more aware of the force's operations. Whether or not he goes public about our work, he has Jagmeet Singh has a little better understanding of the forces. Again, he was Minister of Defense. He dealt with the forces. So he's more aware, I would say. But again, all these leaders, they're all leaders. Your vote counts. No matter what, we're not in bad hands with any of these leaders. We're not in bad hands. I see potential in all of them. Like I said, the only reason I would vote for Jagmeet is because he's got more experience with the forces. That's all. But I see potential in all of them. They all have ideas. They all have a plan. I want to say Justin Trudeau was one of the best prime ministers Canada ever had. Personally, we didn't always see eye to eye, me and Justin, and I am his son. Before I go further, my adoptive dad is always going to be my dad because he cares. He's been there. He raised me to be a gentleman. He raised me to be the man that I am today, a hard worker and a good man, a gentleman, and a good provider for my wife and kids. A protector. He raised me right. He did raise me right. Not that Justin would have done a bad job, but my dad's my dad. But God is also my dad. He calls me son. He's been there as much as Gene. I have many fathers. It's fucked up. All I can say is my family's big. I accept the fact that I have a different background. I have a diverse background, multicultural background, and I have many family. I still consider myself a Saint Jean. No matter what, even though I'm technically a Trudeau or Castro, I guess. Technically, I'm a Castro. But I'm a Saint Jean. I spent my life as a saint. You know, I miss some of them because they all died of cancer, and I don't think that was right. I don't like chemo. I don't think it's right. I found a better cure. I found a better alternative to curing cancer. But as I was saying, Justin was a good prime minister. No matter what people will say bad about him, we didn't always see eye to eye. There was moments we were at each other's throat. But I'd like to say we turned a page. I would like to turn the page with the government. They did try to assassinate me. I'm not gonna hide the fact, but I don't want to put it in their face, or spend the rest of my life angry. I don't want to spend the rest of my life vengeful. I want to turn the page and look for a better future for all of us and myself. Especially myself. I don't want to spend the rest of my life being vengeful. I don't want to spend the rest of my life arguing. I don't want to spend the rest of my life living in fear. So if the government are gonna watch this video, let's just please turn the page and stop bickering and I want to work with the forces. I want my family back deep down. I'm not so into being king, although I am rightful king. I just don't care about power or money or fame, or I just live the humble life. I'm a country boy. I live in farmlands. Farm area. I am qualified to be a leader. I have qualities, but it's just not for me. I'm more of a scientist. Personally, I'm more of a scientist. I work better in the lab, I guess. So again, I don't want to spend the rest of my life arguing or fighting or bitching or living in fear either. So I would ask all the entire Canadian government, can we just at least turn the page, start fresh? I'm working for the forces now. I got some good plans. Not only for myself. I'm working hard on inventions and or I've worked hard. There's a reason why I made these things. I invented these things not only for myself. We have threats, and we have problems, and I need to keep working. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life arguing. You know what I mean? And I'm willing to turn the page because I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life angry. I want to be happy. I want to live a good life. I want to live a healthy life. I want to live a life of freedom. I'm a Canadian citizen. I have every right to want my freedom. It's not all about money. It's about being able to live, and not always have a target on my face. And I know GTF2 are working hard in the background for me. So there's that. There's no need for me to bicker or be vengeful. Because I know deep down, good will happen for me and the country and the rest of the world. Good things will happen. I have positive vibes, a positive mindset. And whoever wins the elections, I'll be happy to work with. No matter Conservative, Liberal, NDP, or any other party, I'll still be happy to work with. Because I'm willing to turn the page. Like I said, the only reason my vote would go more for Jagmeet is he has a more experience with the military, and that's the only reason. All of them have good ideas, All of them have a plan. All of them want what's best for the country, I don't condone their actions, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life angry. You know what I mean? I want to turn the page. I want to walk in a better direction. And I just hope that we can work together in the future. You know what I mean? I was angry. Yes, I had every right to, but I don't want to be angry anymore. I want to be happy, and I want to live.